My name is Katie Simmonds. I am a Young Ambassador for CDC. First question I'm going to ask is, what event are you taking part in the Paralympics?
I'll be taking part in the Boccia event in both the individuals and the pairs event.
What does that involve? And is it a team sport or an individual sport?
You're in the individual event. I'll be playing on my own against other players from different countries, and in the pairs event, I'll be playing with a partner.
Can you explain what happens?
Right. Okay. Boccia is like a sport similar to indoor bowls, and there's two teams, and there's you have 6 red balls and 6 blue balls, and you throw like a white jack out, and the aim of the game is to try and get as close to that as possible. So one team goes, and if they're closer, the opposing team goes and keeps going until they get closer, and then obviously the other team goes, and then they play all their each six of their balls, and you score points for how many of your balls are closer than the other team.
When did you take up the sport, and how did you get interested in the sport?
Yeah, I've been playing for about 7-8 years now, and I got involved in it in primary school, because one of my LSA, a learning support assistant, had like a sports, like disability sports bag, and boccia was a sport in that, and I gave it a try, and I never looked back really.
Where do you play this sport, boccia?
I train in my local leisure centre, about like 3 times a week, and I train in Swansea, where I train with one of my teammates in the GB squad, and we have monthly training camps in Bath as well, and obviously competitions all over the place really. So.
Have you got a role model or a hero you look up to?
In the sport, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. My sort of role model in the sport is Gregorios Polykonidis, and he's a Greek player, and he plays with also. And I sort of, I hadn't played him until recently. I played him a couple of times, so and I've met him a few times, and he's a really good sportsman. So.
How did you get picked for the team?
Yeah, I got about the 10th of April. I was let know that I was part of the squad, and and before that, in the end of 2010, I got picked for the actual GB squad, and that was leading up to the Paralympics. And we've had over that the last couple of year or two. I've been playing. I'm actually, before I got picked for the main GB squad, I went through like a fast track talent program where they identified players with potential to play for GB, and they thought they had potential, and then I've eventually got invited to join the GB squad, and then I've been training up until this year then to try and get picked for the Paralympics, and obviously I achieved that goal. So.
Who's your coach?
Because in my category I have, which is the BC3, I have the lead coach is Julie Broadhead, and I have a local coach, Sarah Nolan, who she lives near to where I live, so she does like local training with us when we're not in camps. Obviously, when I'm in, the lead coach does the coaching when we're in the camps. So.
Do you know where you're based for the games?
The actual games or leading up to the games?
Up to the games and when the games is on.
For a few days we have a holding camp in bathing in the university. So leading up to the games, we're like, our base is there, and then we travel up a couple of days before the event. We stay in the athletes' village in the Olympic Park, and then the actual event takes place in the XL Centre. So.
Between 1 to 10, how did you feel when you told you were going to games, and can you explain how you felt?
Yeah, it was. I felt 10 out of 10 really. Yeah, it just felt it was just a dream come true, and it was like a reward for all the hard work I put in. I just couldn't be happier really.
What other sports hobbies do you like?
Yeah, I love sport, and I watch all kinds of sports like football, rugby, and tennis, and yeah, I like going to. I'm a big fan of sport. I've always loved sport, and it gives me an opportunity to compete on equal terms with like other players. Then, and I also I go to college, and I do a sports course there. So they're my hobbies, and just obviously seeing friends and everything else.
Have you got a favourite football team?
Yeah, I support Manchester United. So.
What are your best achievements so far?
In Boccia, you mean?
Yeah.
Probably a couple of weeks ago we went to the London Test event for the Boccia, and I won bronze in the individual event and pairs in the gold, and they were probably my best achievements really. I've had lots of others, but they were probably the highlight of my career so far. Yeah, and I played with my teammate Jeff in that event, so it was probably the best result I've had really, and yeah, that's probably the highlight.
Is the sport for all disabilities, and how would you find about the sport, and where would you go for information?
It's people who it's possible for people who play in a wheelchair, and most disabilities are they have cerebral palsy, but other disabilities such as muscular dystrophy, which I have, they can compete also. You can probably find out about Boccia and get involved is in your local area with disabilities. Yeah, if with your disability sports officer, they probably will be able to point you in the right direction, and like they would help getting you involved with the sport.
The last question I'm going to ask: what advice would you give other young people who wanted to be a Paralympian?
If you really enjoy that sport and you want to compete at a high level, it's really worth it. If you put all the hard work in, it's worth it. And if you achieve your dream, it's just worth it. Yeah, you never know what can happen.
Thank you very much for speaking to me.
That's no problem. Yeah, so thanks a lot to you. It's a great honour.